and yet another challenge here on our channel has been solved. Congratulations to Passaribu from Indonesia. He won approximately $600 in Bitcoin, plus the prize in cash. Congratulations! Now, we're going to explain the answer to the challenge and how Passaribu managed to solve it. The challenge started in very hard mode. 12 words were hidden here in this image. Whoever found the 12 words in the correct order could win. The correct order is relatively easy. Once you have the exact 12 words, you can permute them using the code that, by the way, I've already made available here on the channel. The problem is when you have 15 words, 20 words, 40 words, 50 words, then things get tough. Some words were very easy, almost ridiculous, like venture, which is even written right here in front of us, and there were words that were very difficult. The hardest word here in this challenge is similar, which is here. It's really well hidden back here. From the blood donation here, from the donor, that was the hardest one. And the easiest ones are oxygen, which you can read, and venture. And in between, you have medium words, some easier, some harder, but anyway, a challenge that's well structured in terms of the difficulty of the words. The hints are the best part, right? It starts here. One of the words starts with the letter V, and that was the worst hint, but it was the one that got the most likes. Here, the more likes a hint got, the worse the hint was, because this challenge was really tricky. Just look at Pat. At least, my friend, it got 11 likes. This challenge is quite similar to the last form. This was one of the best hints because it contained the word similar. But obviously, right, it's hard to imagine that the hint would actually contain a word like that right in the middle of the hint. Even so, it got a balanced amount of likes and dislikes. And that's when the fun begins. Look, this challenge is really popular. Popular was one of the words. It got 11 dislikes. Have faith that in the end, everything makes sense. Faith was one of the words. It got 8 dislikes. After all these hints, it got easy. My friend was another word. It got 10 dislikes, so a lot of people didn't buy it. These hints got a lot of dislikes, but they were packed with words, especially this one, with similar, which was the hardest word in the challenge. And then there was the special hint number 6, which was worth 10 million Casatals. And when it was released, it caused a stir. That's it. You solved the challenge. First of all, nobody bought this hint because it was economically unfeasible. But look at what a good hint it was. The hint goes like this. Look, each previous hint helps to reveal a word. So if you had this hint here, you would know that in hint 5, hint 4, hint 3, and hint 2, each one has a word. And you would definitely find a similar one, a popular one. You would already have 6 words. It would be pretty easy to find the challenge. Well, then there were a few more hints, but the hint that solved it was this one. Look. It gave the order of difficulty for each word. And with that, Passaribu, who was already very advanced, and others as well, who were also very advanced, managed to get even closer. Passaribu ended up hunting it. Passaribu was desperate. He would send 5 messages every day. He would message on LinkedIn, on Discord. He'd say, hey, master, when's the new hint? When's the new hint? When is the new hint coming out? When is the new hint coming out? Anyway, he really dedicated himself. He deserved it. Congratulations, Passaribu. He told me on Discord that he's from Indonesia and that there are quite a few people there from Indonesia participating in the challenge. And that's why I added, moving on to the translation, Indonesian, here on our website, bitcoinpuzzles.io. And by the way, as you can see, it has a new look and also a new backend. It's all new, okay? The old one I made on Replit with artificial intelligence. I was really surprised. Exactly a year ago, I was so surprised by the artificial intelligence that I managed to make it so quickly. But it was still kind of so-so, you know? And after a year studying artificial intelligence, I made my own tool, just like Replit, called Viberspace. And I used this tool to create the new bitcoinpences.io website, which turned out amazing. It has translation into 6 languages, it has new features, you can send puzzles from one person to another. It fixed several bugs, and it also translates the challenges themselves and the comments on the challenges. In other words, if you select Indonesian here, you'll see the entire site in Indonesian. And if you go into a challenge and look at the comments, even if the comments were originally in another language, all the comments will be there. Then in Indonesian, so you can understand it in your own language, whichever of these 6 languages it may be. And there are several other improvements that you'll discover along the way. The only downside to the site is that the pool is no longer available. And the reason is this: there were very few people using it, and it requires a certain amount of work, right? That's not my focus. My focus is on challenges and the other millions of things I do in artificial intelligence. And there are some really talented people out there who already do this job much better than I do. That's why I'm going to share the pool from Valdez and Reiner Paulo here in the description for you all to use. You can talk to them on Discord and you will be able to give you much more attention than I can. And then there's that question, right? So how am I going to get Casatal now? Because in the past, you could mine Casatal in the pool. Now, you either have to participate in the challenge or receive a donation, right? As I told you, now it's possible to donate Casatal from one user to another. Or you come out here. Now it's much easier because now, if you come here to the Brazilian Casatal website, Inside Bitcoin, or me, there's already a link here for you to buy on the radio. You just click connect your wallet and that's it. I get it. Don't be fooled by this falling chart here. This chart is for Solana to Casatal. The real Casatal chart is this one, but that doesn't mean you should buy a lot thinking you're going to get rich. This is the challenge currency URSA. This isn't an investment for anyone to get rich, even though it has this steady rise. And that's exactly why it has this steady rise. Because if someone wants to invest, there are plenty of other coins. So to do that, and then the coin crashes and that's it. We don't want that. We want our coin to keep going. So there's the Casatal chart. Now it's easier and it can now be acquired.